My journey to kind of thinking about food probably isn't the most traditional. My father came to this country, and in fact this county, as an immigrant farm worker. He picked strawberries in North San Diego County, and then moved on to the packing house. And so the origins of where we get our food has always been of interest to me. When I started in high school, thinking about pesticides and things that were on our foods, not only because they're consumed by us, but also because there are actual live people working in those conditions at the same time. And we know the effect that so much of our food system has on so many folks. And then as a legislator, of course, to continue all the work that we do really touches how we eat. You know, we're thinking about climate change and the fires right now. We're thinking about land use policy and preserving some of our ag land. We talk about, again, of pesticides and the things that we use. And then 2 years ago, I was lucky enough to work closely with farm workers and ensure that those people who pick our food have the same rights as everybody else when we pass farm work overtime. We did that not only because it was an important issue for these workers, but it was a social justice issue where you have one group of people, and in our country it's uncomfortable but true, that group comes traditionally from the idea of plantations and slavery. And so we've never treated farm workers the way that we should. And they're the first people who are really taking our food and getting it to us. And so it doesn't matter if it's a farm worker or the truck driver or the cook in a kitchen or the person serving it or the busboy, all of those folks and how we treat them goes into the overall, I think, policy of how we see food. And so I'm excited to be here from a little bit of a different perspective, I think, but also a more global perspective. As a mother, I always say, make sure you say I'm a mom, because that, of course, I mean, it's one thing I can eat things and not worry too much, but when you have little ones, you really worry where their food came from, what was put in it. You know, was it locally grown? Who's touched it? And so for me, it's important that the food tank is here, that we're talking about this in an area like San Diego, where all these policy areas really touch each other. We have great research institutions. We have great farmland, and people don't think of San Diego as a farming area. It's got the largest number of family-owned farms, I think, in the nation. And so it's exciting to have it here. So I want to thank you. I want to welcome you to San Diego, and thank you for being here. And with that, I was told I get to introduce by video a man that we probably all know, but he's the next governor of California. I know he's really busy with everything going on, but he took some time to record a video for all of you here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, Governor-elect Gavin Newsom.
Hey everybody, Gavin Newsom, Governor-elect of California, here in Sacramento, but sadly not with each and every one of you at this first, what we hope becomes an annualized event, the Food Tank Summit in San Diego. You have chosen wisely, being not only here in this great state, substantively in San Diego, but here to discuss the profoundly important issues of sustainability. And I think of sustainability as a foundational value, not just from the food perspective, but as a value that needs to be re-injected in our body politic. Situational values are the reason we have so many of the challenges we do today, not just in this state, but this nation and collectively the world. It's time to talk about sustainable values, and I'm grateful you're doing it on the foundational issue, and that is food, soils, agriculture, and sustainable values that include livable wages for our farm workers, empowering women into positions of real power and influence in the agricultural space. Just so you know, I don't come to this just because Michelle made sure that I spoke on this video, and thank you, Michelle, again, Lurac, for all your great work in the Very Good Foundation, but also because as a former mayor, I was passionately involved in sustainable food issues and food policy. I hosted the International Slow Food Conference when I was mayor, converted San Francisco Civic Center into a large victory garden, a vegetable garden, and actually created a food policy for our city. I'm deeply committed to soils issues, carbon-rich soils, deeply committed to addressing the sort of fork to planet or plate to planet space in terms of our body politic, and beginning to focus, as we did when I was the first mayor in the country, to do a composting requirement in our city on food waste, and again addressing more sustainable mindset around issues that you all have come here to discuss today. I don't want to belabor you with more of my thinking, because it's really about your thinking, empowering your voices, health voices, not just issues around economics. And thank you for that leadership. Thank you for your stewardship. And thank you, in closing, for all the extraordinary ideas that I hope you generate today, that Michelle will make sure come back here to Sacramento and hopefully translate into enlightened policy that can liven the senses of people, not just here in San Diego and the state of California, but be a model for folks all across the rest of the country, and we hope around the rest of the world. Have fun, everybody, and thank you for what you're doing today.